You know, Ivan, they said it couldn't be done.
Hi, I'm Ivan.
I'm Nick.
And this is DIY Detail. You keep hearing people saying all the time, you can't finish with a rotary. You can't do this with a rotary. You can't do that with a rotary. This is my favorite tool, the rotary.
I used to love cutting defects out of paint with the rotary and a wool pad, but I would swear by the method of finishing with a dual action polisher to get the maximum gloss.
Right. A lot of people think that until they actually do the test. Then they realize that, wait a minute, the rotary gives a little more gloss. And another question we get is, I'm new to detailing. I don't own a polisher yet. Which polisher should I get?
The DA.
Yeah, the rotary. The reason for the rotary, it's easier to learn how to use a rotary than it is a DA. It's more precise and you get more gloss from it. If you want to go to heavy correction, we have pads for that. But for a simple, beautiful gloss enhancement, which is what we're doing here, we're not going for defect removal. We're just going for a nice gloss enhancement. Get rid of those little car wash scratches because it has one of those stickers on it that says, you can take me through a car wash anytime you want.
It's a great deal, but it's also a great deal of damage that your paint will be subjected to.
Yeah.
We're not saying don't go through the car wash. We're just saying everything has a consequence, good or bad.
Yep.
You get to make these decisions. You may decide one day, I have a new decision to make. And it's how am I going to go about making my paint look better? You've decided you're gonna do it now. It's what pad and polish do I use? Is it DA, is it rotary? Ivan, how do they even decide in the first place, I'm gonna pick up the rotary today?
Yeah, so there's no wrong or right answer to this. There's just different ways of doing it. We're gonna show you how to do it with the rotary. It's simple, it's effective, and it's more relaxing to me. To me, the rotary is like meditation, it's zen. It's just such a smooth tool to use. First thing we need to do though is start with a clean, damp pad. Now, I've got rinseless wash in this little sprayer. I'm going to dampen my pad. Then, in our prototype pad washer here, and no, they're not available yet. If they are available, there will be a link down below. Speed 1. Then speed 6 to wring out the excess liquid from the pad. We're not using a wet pad, we're using a damp pad. Then from there, 1 spray of the gold standard polish. Now I have an even covering on my pad. That's all I need. And now to the paint. Let's take a look at the paint here. And we can see all those beautiful spider webs, swirls, marks, however you want to look at them, or whatever you want to call them, they're there. They're not looking good. We want to make the paint look better. And this paint is actually metallic. If you look really, really closely, you might be able to see the odd metallic flake. When we're done, you'll see a lot more metallic flakes. My pad is ready. My polisher is ready. My back is ready. Nick's ready. Here we go. Speed 1, the lowest speed it will go. Remember, this is calm. This is relaxing. No pressure whatsoever.
How do you get to a flat pad? Because I know a lot of folks watch this on the internet.
Yeah.
It took me actually learning from you in person a few times where you just suggested, okay, just tilt the wrist a little bit. You're going for the half circles. Like, what can you convey over the internet that someone at home might not see, but you are always seeing in person?
You can see the full width of my pad was in use here.
As opposed to.
Well, if I'm doing this, I only have a portion of the pad being used.
Okay, yeah,
Here, I have the full width of the pad. And I did a 50% overlap. And by 50% overlap, we bring the pad, and then this line that's here, I'm just going to move the center of the pad to that line and go back up. Again, the center of the pad, and move back down. Now to learn how to use that rotary, it's very simple. If you want to use a scrap panel, you can. Don't worry, this is not removing that much material. What you could do is focus on keeping it in one place. And once you let go of the polisher, so the less you hold onto it, the easier it is to control. If you're holding onto it, see how it's jerking around? Because my hand and my wrist is locked since I'm holding that there. The more flexibility it has, now the easier it is. If I lift up on the handle, it's going to want to go up. If I push down on the handle, it wants to go down. If I twist the handle this way, it wants to move forward. And if I twist the handle this way, it wants to move back. Once I find that equilibrium, it stays there.
Question. Everything is nice and easy on a hood, Ivan.
Right.
Right? Let's talk about the real world. You're on a vertical panel. You're
Right.
on contours. It's not always realistic for something to be flat and perfect.
Right.
How do I work in less than ideal situations and maintain Ivan's flat pad, speed 1, no pressure method?
When we get to the sides and all the contours, we'll explain that. Did 3 passes. Let's see what we accomplished here. A rinseless dampened towel. And then a dry towel. Now normally, while it's still damp like this, I'd put a bit of ceramic gloss, but we're just wanting to show you the results of the polishing alone. We didn't get rid of all the scratches and swirls. That's not the goal. We're here to do a gloss enhancement.
So I see the scratches and swirl if we follow that light. Water spots, etching. Ooh, that's pretty nasty. And as we come over, you're gonna see, wow. So probably a 50 to 70% reduction in swirls and just a big gloss improvement.
Right.
You know, folks might say, well, you didn't remove all the scratches, you're not really polishing paint. Folks might need to reframe what the goal of polishing is, because they might see a lot of little scratches in there and say, he didn't remove them all, he's not really polishing.
No, and we're never removing a scratch. This is something that detailers for decades have gotten wrong in their mentality. That is, we are never removing a scratch. We're removing the clear coat or the paint, this is clear coat, down to the level of the scratch. So if you have a scratch, and I'll exaggerate here, your paint is 1 inch thick and you have a scratch that's 1/4 inch deep. You're removing 1/4 inch of paint to eliminate that scratch. That's what's happening when we're polishing. And to put it in real numbers, it's 100 microns thick, but only 50 of that is clear coat. And if we remove 10 microns, we're removing 20% of the clear coat that is protecting our paint.
It's okay to leave some visual scratches behind. We've removed a lot of the visual scratches.
Yeah.
I know we don't want to start removing scratches and
Yeah.
the idea here is we're not going for perfect, but we're getting much more shine and gloss out of this paint.
We're getting shine, we're getting gloss, we're adding protection, not with the polish, but we'll add it afterwards. And once we've added that protection, it's going to be nice. And also, unless I have a high-powered light pointed at it, it's beautiful.
I have a corded rotary.
Yeah.
You have a cord-free rotary.
Right.
How do I choose a cordless tool versus a corded tool in our lineup?
You choose by what you feel like. Now, some people, if you're a professional, I would say go with the cord-free tool. If you're a hobbyist, go with a corded tool. And the reason for that is simple. You get up Saturday morning, I feel like polishing my car.
Sounds like something I would do.
Yeah.
Go with the feeling.
All right, but oops, I forgot to plug my batteries in. Now, our battery charger is very quick. 0 to 80% is 20 minutes. So not that big a deal, but batteries need to be used. So if they're just sitting on the shelf for months and months, it's not really good for it. Whereas a corded tool, it can sit for 5 years, you plug it in, it's good to go.
So Ivan, I paid for this tool.
Yeah.
It has 6 speeds, and I intend to use each one of them. Why am I only going to use speed 1?
Well, speed 1 for polishing, because it's going to give you the best results. It's going to be the easiest to control, and you're not going to damage your paint. People are afraid using a rotary, they're going to get swirls. Great way to get swirls is amp up the speed. Another great way of getting swirls is use a flat pad instead of a waffle pad.
So use it as a system, polish on speed 1, spin out in your pad washer after cleaning on speed 6.
Yes.
And those are the only speeds you need to work with.
If it were up to me, it would only have 2 speeds. But a 2-speed controller actually costs more than the variable speed that we have.
Okay. I'm gonna polish some paint.
Have fun.
So Ivan, I was just kind of had the pad sitting like this for about 10 minutes while you were talking. And
Yeah.
you actually asked me, you're like, was it sitting somewhere for a while? I'm like, yeah, you were just talking. I was trying to polish, but you kept sharing your wisdom. What was going on? Why was it vibrating like that?
That's because you sort of set the pad a little bit by having pressure on it like that.
Oh.
So it'll take 4 or 5 passes to, relax the foam and get it where it needs to go.
Interesting. So you wouldn't normally want to set your pad down somewhere, even if it's a clean surface?
Yeah.
You rest it like this or on a cart like we got over here.
Exactly.
All right, but I don't need to re-clean this. I'm still okay?
Yeah, we're good.
All right.
Nick, another question we get often is, why are we using this rotary at speed 1?
Well, I asked you earlier.
Yeah, but a lot of people think that, I've seen other people and they're at speed 2, 3, 5. We don't want to heat the paint. The higher the RPMs, the more heat we're generating. We actually get more cut at a lower speed than we do at a higher speed. And it's a lot easier to maneuver the tool. So those people that have told you that rotary causes swirls, it's hard to learn, it's hard to maneuver, those are people trying to use it at a high speed.
I love using the rotary to get edges even clean on a windshield or to polish intricate areas.
Yeah.
Because although we teach the flat pad method, you can safely, because this pad is so fat and soft, kind of work it down into areas like this. That's what I like it for.
Yeah, and that's what I'm about to do.
Ivan, I'm even polishing the plastic on the cowl and the windshield arm.
Yeah.
Am I a maniac?
No.
A wild man? So it's hard to convey on camera, but I'm noticing it get grabby on the windshield.
Right.
What can you tell people at home that's gonna feel like or look like? Because I know it's time to clean my pad. I was trying to stretch it a little bit longer than I should have.
Yeah.
But I could just feel it getting grabby.
Well, that's the best way to describe it. It feels grabby. It feels like the machine is trying to move you instead of you moving the machine. And when you feel that, it's simple. Just stop, clean your pad.
On plastic trim, right? The cowl here.
Yeah.
Speed 1, no pressure. And then the wiper arm.
Speed thing. Same thing.
Yeah, and look how rich that is.
Yeah.
So that looks great.
And the pad, because we polished oxidized plastic, is gonna have a bit of that black transfer on it. No need to worry, it's not affecting the pad, it's actually staining the pad a little bit. We'll clean the pad, and as we go, the pad will actually get cleaner as we do the car.
What's the biggest mistake people make when they're implementing this method? So speed 1, flat pad, gold standard polish, dampen with rinse and wash. When they're using our system, what's the biggest mistake they make with the rotary?
Trying to control the tool. Just follow the tool, be gentle with the tool. If you're trying to hold onto it, it's gonna lead you everywhere. Just guide instead of control.
How big should my section size be when I'm polishing? In between, so you clean your pad, right? And then you get into your polishing, area. That's your section size. How big should that be?
About 2 feet by 2 feet. But that will vary on the paint. The more oxidized the paint is, the grabbier is going to get sooner because you're removing that oxidation, it's mixing in with the polish, and then it dries out the polish.
So when it gets grabby, trust that.
Yeah, just trust that.
And clean your pad.
Yeah, that easy.
One question a lot of folks may have in their mind is, I've heard an enhancement polish is your yellow waffle pad on a dual action. So when would I use the rotary jeweling method on speed 1 versus the gold standard waffle pad on a dual action on speed 3 or so?
The dual action will give you a little more cut, a little more swirl or scratch removal. And it depends on what tool you have. If you only have a rotary, then use the rotary.
And they don't have to use our rotary, right? They just want to use their rotary on their slowest speed setting.
Yeah. Now, I prefer to wipe off as I go. So I polished all the upper surfaces. Now I'm wiping them off. I use the rinseless dampened towel and just a spritz of ceramic gloss to bring up that shine and slickness and leave a bit of protection behind.
I prefer, because I have a tendency to be all over the place, to polish and leave the residue on the paint so I know, hey, I've already polished that. Don't do that again, Nick.
There's nothing wrong with either way. All we're simply doing is getting the job done. Now, how we get it done, it's up to you.
A lot of folks may wonder, what are you doing? You're spraying on a rinseless wash dampened surface, some ceramic gloss. Like, you took the time to polish?
Yeah.
Why are you laying down your protection step this way? Why not take our foam applicator and a wax on, wax off kind of style with ceramic gloss?
If you wanted to, you could.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with that. Now, does it give you anything more than the satisfaction of rubbing your car a few more times? Maybe 10%. It's not that big of a deal. There's not enough rinseless wash on the surface to really dilute the ceramic gloss. It's just acting as a bit of a lubricant to help the ceramic gloss.
How much ceramic gloss is appropriate? I just saw 2 sprays, but it wasn't on the same panel.
No, so 1 spray here, 1 spray there. That might have been a bit of overkill.
I noticed it being a little more than usual for you.
Right.
So I had to point it out.
Yeah, and it was a half spray, so I didn't fully depress the trigger.
Also, keep your ceramic gloss off my side, Ivan. I'm not ready for that spritz here, you know?
Yeah.
We were all about precision around here. You know what? We're actually having fun. I love the jeweling pad with our rotary on speed 1. It's so meditative. If you haven't used it, I highly encourage you to try the process. But it doesn't just involve the pad and the polish, Ivan.
No.
It involves using our rinseless wash at the dilution ratio of 256:1 to clean your pad. Why would I use a damp pad here? Because a lot of people try to mix and match with our system.
Right. A damp pad does a few things for you. First, it cools the pad. B, we've cleaned the pad. A clean pad works like a new pad every time. And you'll see some detailers, again, nothing wrong with it, but they'll use 10, 12, 15 pads to do a car. They'll do a section, they'll rip the pad off, they'll put a new pad on, they keep going. It's hard on the pads, it's hard on the backing plate. It takes as much time as cleaning the pad.
Yep.
And they're using a dry pad. A dry pad doesn't perform as well as a damp pad. We have that coolness from the damp pad, but we also have additional flexibility, plus it actually helps the polish.
Your system is not an a la carte one.
No.
It's adopt this truly. At least try it
Yeah.
and see.
Yeah.
You gotta at least try it once, folks, because for me, I would always a la carte your system and mix and match and be like, no, it's not right.
Doesn't really work.
Once you buy in, it really does work.
Yeah, and it's not buying in. Once you actually try it, and by trying it, if you substitute a flat pad, it's not gonna work as well. If you substitute a dry pad, it's not gonna work as well. If you bump it up to 1200 RPM, it's not gonna work as well.
Ivan, everyone I see on the internet is a pro detailer.
Yeah.
Doesn't stop at one spray, because they're a pro. You're the hack, they're the pro.
Yeah.
They do 2 or 3 sprays.
Right.
Are they right or are they wrong?
They're definitely wrong. Our polish is engineered as a one spray polish. And we even chose the proper trigger to have the right amount. Now, if you want to use more, you can. What's it gonna do for you? Absolutely nothing other than frustrate you, get sling everywhere, and you're gonna find the polish harder to wipe off, harder to use, oily, greasy, all sorts of things. It's designed as one.
I wanna keep polishing. Can I do that?
Let's go.
All right, let's go.
Now, Nick, something else you used to do in your former life, and a lot of people still do, is putting the polish on your pad and then tapping the pad on the surface to spread out the polish.
That means you're a pro detailer, Ivan.
Oh, 100%. What you're doing with that is, yes, you are spreading out the polish. Bravo, that's good. But the negative part of that is you're gonna get sling because now you're picking up those dots of polish as you're going by. But also, some of that polish is actually drying and you can cause scratches doing that. So in an industry where we're trying to mitigate scratches, we're trying to reduce that risk, that is introducing a risk.
So my process here, Ivan, and I hear everything you're saying and I think it's great. Your system, our system, is designed to work perfectly.
Yeah.
I did all the uppers.
Yep.
My pad washer is over yonder.
Yes.
So I'm gonna start now with the lowers and work my way toward the pad washer.
Yep.
Because you mentioned sling. In case I do get sling from the pad washers, I'm, speed 6, flinging it out. If the sling gets on the paint, I haven't polished it yet. So I'll polish over it. It's one little way that, efficiency can work in your favor.
Exactly.
I'm having fun though. I don't wanna talk, I just wanna polish. Is that okay?
100%.
Fun is allowed, right, with the Rotary?
Oh, always.
There was a time when the Rotary was scorned by the detailing community.
Oh, it was a serious business and a serious tool, and only the most, seasoned veteran could use a Rotary. It's gonna be further from the truth.
Now, what about this move? If you're trying to get on spots, do you ever just hold it open? I know there's different ways to secure. Do you ever one-hand it, or what would you recommend?
I normally just go one hand.
One-handed?
Yeah.
Speed 1. Speed 1, no pressure. I love the precision of the Rotary. I can just lightly tilt the pad and it gets in all these little emblems safely and effectively.
When we began, you asked me, how do we get into all these nooks and crannies and using it on a vertical panel?
Yep.
There's nothing holding it here. Like, it's very, very loose.
Yep.
We're both polishing on it. It's not going down, it's not going up.
I was thinking about that, but I was like, this is the key of no pressure polishing.
Yeah.
Is it's not pushing the panel down, so it's proving the effectiveness.
Right, and I can get into all these contours with ease using this pad.
To gently tilt just to get rid of all that car wash gunky residue around edges.
Yeah, and you can see it here.
Yep.
There's that line of car wash residue here that was really bad.
And it didn't come off in the wash.
It doesn't come off, it won't come off in the wash.
Right.
This is just accumulation over time. You can put this back down and then and some detailers at this point would want to get out a 1-inch pad because it's such a small area, I don't mind if my pad overhangs. It's not going to do anything negative.
No. But it's just a barely slightest of tilt on the pad, right?
Not at all. I'm just putting it there.
You're just putting it there.
Just bringing it up to the edge. I don't need to tilt it. I just need to know where my edge is. Now I'm, with the vibration, pulling water out from under this plastic piece. So we don't want, that's why you're getting what looks like sling at this point, because there's a bit of water under here. If we move it around, we'll see water floating out of it at the top there. So very easy to do. Just keep going.
All right. Ivan, it seems like every time I touch either glass or black plastic, my pad seems to be ready to get cleaned again. Like all of a sudden, the lines are appearing more spacing in the polish residue.
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel the same. Is that because I'm pulling up?
You're pulling oxidation up off the plastic.
And the glass too, or is the glass eating the polish more?
No, it's the glass. The glass is dirtier than people think, and we washed it, we clayed it, but that oxidation, it gets not oxidation on it, but that car wash residue that we're trying to remove from here.
And you don't see it all the time because it's glass.
Right.
And we did see a lot on the edges. But I am polishing the plastic.
Of course. We want to clean the plastic too. There are a lot of polishers out there that say, oh, you can't polish plastic. We don't tape anything because we want to polish the plastic. This side Nick did, look how beautiful it is. And this side I haven't done yet. And feel that, Nick.
Feels very smooth. Oh, that is like...
It's grabby.
It's grabby.
That's the oxidation on the plastic.
Wow, okay.
So my pad is clean.
Mine's a little bit darker along the edges. I'm gonna go clean that.
Yeah, but let me just go over this and you'll see the pad will darken up just a little bit. So my pad, you can see a bit of a black reflection on it now. Not much, but there's a bit of a black reflection there.
Folks might wonder, Ivan.
Yes.
Am I gonna stain plastic if I polish it? This black trim, am I gonna turn it white? Because I've had that happen with other polishes, so clearly this is just for YouTube, and when I do in the real world, I shall ruin an expensive car's plastic.
No, not at all. You're not gonna ruin an expensive car's plastic or a cheap car's plastic. You're not gonna ruin the plastic. We're actually cleaning the plastic, making it look better, removing that little layer of oxidation that's on the top, bringing back that new plastic look.
But other polishes do stain plastic.
Some do, yes.
What makes gold standard polish unique?
Everything. It is a system. It was designed for me in my shops. For 20 some years, we detailed cars using a very similar system that I developed back then as well. So the whole point of this was we were selling franchises. We wanted our franchisees to have the best possible outcome and be able to train new employees very easily, very simply. Training someone to tape this trim takes longer than to train someone to polish this trim. And when they tape it, their tape might be a little over the edge and then there's a spot that isn't touched, or it might be a little too much onto the plastic and then there's a spot that gets polished and you get a white spot. It's just easier to make a polish that doesn't stain trim. One caveat to that though, the wool pad, too abrasive to use on the plastic.
So only use foam on a low speed with gold standard polish.
Yeah, either the red or the gold pad.
All right.
And speaking of car wash scum, look at this. This crack, just this edge here, there's no way a car wash is cleaning in there. Now we washed it, it's clean, but that's leftover car wash scum and it's thick, it's heavy, but and now it's gone. Despite the fact that we have great lighting in here, it's sometimes difficult to see little tracers left behind when I'm wiping off. So I just give a quick inspection with the light on the lower sections. The upper section's not a problem. But these lower sections, I just want to make sure, and come have a look. This door I've done, this door I haven't. "100% improvement? No, but a good 60, 70% improvement. Much more clarity, a little brighter, and look how wide the scope of the light is when we go there. When we go over here, it's a lot brighter, it's a lot tighter. 2 more panels, and we're done.
Ivan, I'm gonna be totally honest with you.
Yep.
This cord is annoying me.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that, you know.
I have cord-free envy.
Okay. Well, next time I'll use a cord, you use the cord free.
I think it's good though. I have the heart of the enthusiast out there who may not have planned ahead to charge the battery. So
Yeah.
I'm using the cord tool, it's great. I'm used to bigger vehicles.
Yeah.
It feels like a lot of these panels are very low to the ground. You know,
They are, yeah.
smaller sedan. So yeah, but we're doing a great job. We're almost done.
Yeah.
And here we meet at the front. Someone out there might wonder,
Yeah.
polish sensors?
Yeah, you just want to lightly polish it. You're not doing a lot. This is the LiDAR sensor could be here or it could be there. Not sure where it is on this vehicle, but the vehicles that have intelligent cruise control, this has, then they'll have a LiDAR sensor somewhere at the front, which is sort of a radar type thing. The other thing, you know, cars are getting smarter all the time. This one's extremely smart. It's suggesting that people subscribe to our channel.
Wow.
Yeah.
It must know something that folks ought to do.
There you go.
Well, Ivan's all done. I'm just getting my rinseless wash dampened towel. Now, there was a time when it was a lot damper than this, but I'm gonna do the LaCroix method and truly go all the way to barely dripping. Why am I doing that?
To make your life easier. And the other thing he could have done is actually wring it out over his bucket. That way we don't get water on the floor and he conserves it a little longer.
Oh, you live and you learn, you know?
Yeah. So while Nick is doing that, I'm just gonna do a little final inspection on my side, make sure I've got everything dialed in the way it should be.
I like to wipe one section and then, I don't know, maybe let Mother Nature dry it a little bit, but we don't want it totally dry, right? There's a benefit to it staying a little wet on the surface with the ceramic gloss. Is there or is there not?
Yeah, you want that little bit of moisture staying there. You don't want to be drying the car. You just want to use that additional lubrication to help spread the ceramic gloss.
Boy, there was a time, Ivan, when I would have done 2 sprays on the panel, but 1 is sufficient, isn't it?
It's more than sufficient. That's all you really need. 2 would have given you a lot more work.
You're right. That's what it was, that I didn't love this method before, is I would do 2 or 3 sprays, and I'm like, I don't like this, Ivan.
Yeah, it's too much work.
Right,
So-
I'm like struggling to get the panel to wipe evenly. And now that you really do it, as Ivan suggests, 1 spray, it buffs off effortlessly.
Yeah.
And the finish is fantastic.
And speaking
This
of
is why we detail, Ivan, is the finish product, the finish feeling. It's like, that was so rewarding. I did that, right?
Yeah, this car is beautiful now. It shines. It's glowing even. And Nick, speaking of glowing cars, what's another video they might want to watch to further their education?
Well, they might want to know, how can I use ceramic gloss? There's 7 ways for us to use it.
Well, there's probably more, but there's at least 7.
All right, if you want to know how to use it in at least 7 ways, click this video right here.